Hello and welcome back to Funshine Place. Today we're going to be making some Valentine's Day foods. Like our Halloween foods video, my idea was to try and recreate some of the Make It Mini Valentine's Day foods that have already been released. But I'm going to try to put my own twist to it. So let's get started with this project. Our first food is going to be this little heart cake. I decided to top this cake with these little message hearts and covered the entire outside in sprinkles. The first thing you're going to need is a foam cylinder, or if you don't have a foam cylinder, anything like a glue cap or maybe a cap to like a protein shake would work just fine. I actually found these at Pop Shelf. I think they were only like $1.50 a piece, so it was a really good deal. And you get a lot of these. The package also comes with a smaller version that you could probably stack up if you wanted to, or just make as a separate small cake. I'm going to choose to do a large. And then I have these little message hearts. Right now I'm storing them in very tiny jewelry containers. That's why I have this little lid out. These are actually meant for slime. They're slime fillers, and that's like my all-time hack. Whenever like there's a holiday coming up, I always try to look for slime fillers for the holiday because they're usually the perfect size. This is my collection of fruit slices. I actually got these at Hobby Lobby. They used to be like $11, but I went when they were 50% off, so I got them for like $5. And I use these things every single time I'm making food. I really love these little strawberry slices. I've actually made a banana foster cake and a strawberry cake using these little slices. I hope in future videos that we can design some more cakes for the dolls because I have a lot more toppers that I'm really excited to use. Now my hot glue gun is heated up and I'm just going to take my cake and just start just putting on hot glue. Just kind of like smearing it around. This is going to give it a frosting texture. Just going to move it around and keep going until you've covered the entire cake. As you can see, I got this little swirly texture on it and I think it looks really cute. Now that the hot glue is dry, I'm going to start off painting it and hopefully it'll turn brown. Last time it took me like 3 or 4 coats to get the paint to actually look like cake. Sometimes it helps adding Mod Podge, but as you can see, these layers go on very thin and barely even cover it. So you're probably going to have to do 3 or 4 coats of paint, and then I always add Mod Podge on top. Okay, it has been probably about an hour and a half, and I just finished decorating my cake using the hearts and the sprinkles. Here's the sprinkles that I used. I store them in these little jars. I'm always trying to find ways to make my own Make It Mini foods because for some reason I just can't bear to spend $10 per ball. So I'm always trying to find ways to create my own for way cheaper. And actually I have. So these are the sprinkles from Hobby Lobby. They're usually found in the resin section. So that's actually another good place to look for miniature stuff to top your foods with. Which brings us to our next project. We're going to be making a tray full of brownies. For this project, I'm going to use the message hearts, brown paint, some sponge, and a tray that I 3D printed on the printer. I printed this one in pink because it was Valentine's Day and I thought it would be perfect to go along with the dark brown that the brownies are going to be. I'm going to start off by painting the sponge. I actually pre-measured this to fit in my pan. If you don't have a 3D printed brownie pan like I do, you can always try to make one out of paper, or you could possibly try to find one in another playset. The brownie that I'm painting is actually meant to be there's a piece taken out of it. So it's going to be a bit smaller than my pan. So it just depends on how you want to create your brownie pan. If you cut up the entire sponge, you might have a brownie pan that has all sliced up brownies. But if you want to create a full brownie pan with no slices, then just don't cut up the sponge. It depends on you. I'm actually going to be doing both, which is why I actually already painted up another piece that looks like it hasn't been sliced at all. I'm also painting this square for the piece that is going to look like there's been a piece taken out. This piece is very large, so Barbie most likely won't be eating this one. This one's just for show inside of the pan, since the pan is a bit taller than the actual one that's going to be going on the plate. Like, here's a side-by-side reference of what's going to go in the pan, and then this is what's going to be on Barbie's plate. So I cut the sponge in half for this one. Here's my first brownie inside of the pan. I think this looks great. It looks so like brownie-like, and actually a trick that I did since I had a yellow sponge is I kind of unevenly coated it in some areas so you can get that difference in color, which I think. Now I'm going to take my brownie pan and my Mod Podge. I'm going to Mod Podge the top. Don't worry, Mod Podge dries clear if you haven't used it before. And I'm going to start off by placing some conversation hearts. I think I'm going to put this purple one. And I think when I'm placing the ones for the brownie that is going to be sliced, I'm going to have to be a little more careful with my placement. I've already started placing on some hearts. I don't think I'm going to be using any of the orange colored conversation hearts, so that's more work for me. Yay! I always make stuff difficult on myself because I always want very specific colors. I want it to look a certain way, and that's why when I do projects like this, it usually takes me a very long time because I always make everything more difficult. Like those sprinkles, there was a brown color that I wasn't a huge fan of, so I sifted through every single sprinkle just to make sure I got the colors that I wanted. So there's a little insight on me. I always make things more difficult on myself because I always want it to look perfect. Which this is actually my first try on the brownie, and I'm really happy with how that came out. So let this dry. When you see it go clear and you don't see any white, then you'll know that your Mod Podge is dry, and then brush once more on top just to seal everything inside. That's kind of how I did this cake. Actually, it was so funny because I actually made a whole bunch of Valentine's Day foods for our friends at Jelly Kitty Creations like a few years back, and I sat there and went through each heart and placed each heart in this pattern. It took me so long, but I was very happy with the outcome, and I think this cake is probably one of my favorite things. I do have these little donuts that we made in our Halloween food video if you'd like to check that out. If you just change the color frosting, you could also make them Valentine's Day themed. I'm going to add these cute little donuts to this plate that I 3D printed, and I think we can call this a food. Speaking of clay miniatures, I have another one for you. Using these two fondant molds are actually dirty from the clay. Clay does stain things, so you could see there's a little bit of clay on there, which is fine. But these are actually fondant molds from Hobby Lobby. They were $4 regular price, so I thought that was a really good deal. It comes in 3 sizes. Here's the 3rd size, but I did only use these 2 sides. Basically what I did is I took the large one, punched out a piece of cookie colored clay. No, I chose tan. And then took the little one and punched out an icing. And using this light pink frosting, it shows up a bit whiter on the camera. I created these little heart cookies. I think I'll end up displaying them on this little tray that I 3D printed. And I think that is perfect for the heart cookie. And if you really like these heart cookies, then make sure you check out our 12 Days of Christmas video because we also made circle versions of these cookies using the exact same method. Okay, my brownie tray is dry. Now I'm going to brush that final coat of Mod Podge very lightly. Don't worry if it looks white, like I said, it dries on clear. This is the exact same method that I used for the cake, and the cake came out perfect. My sister also made this little chocolate ice cream. I'm going to try to find a cone to put it in, but for now it could be like a fancy gelato in this cute little 3D printed bowl. And then this little heart pizza that my sister made. I thought this was the cutest little thing ever. It's just so cute. I wish I had a box. I know my Froggy Stuff recently just released a video making some boxes for pizza for Valentine's Day, and it was so cute. I didn't print them out, so I'm just going to put it on this little lunch tray, and now the dolls can enjoy this really cute heart pizza for Valentine's Day. My sister actually got the idea from like real life because every Valentine's Day we usually get the heart-shaped pizzas with pepperoni. So she said she really wanted to make one for Barbie. And now for the ultimate Valentine's Day craft. This project, no lie, took me 2 days because I made 8 of them. 8. And that is my chocolate box. I made a lot of these last year as I was making the cakes for our friends at Jelly Kitty Creations, and for ourselves, I really wanted to craft some really cute Valentine's Day foods, and all of a sudden, I just came up with this idea. Well, actually, I didn't come up with it. My mom helped come up with it, and she said, why don't we use the foam hearts from Michael's? And I said, that's a great idea, because I was sitting there cutting out paper for hours. And let me tell you, this is like way faster than cutting up paper. And of course, I couldn't just settle for the box as a decorative box. So of course, I filled it with chocolate. Hold on. And of course, I wasn't into polymer clay then, so I was sitting there making baking soda clay. And let me tell you, that was a nightmare. I painted each of these by hand, 3 coats of paint each, 2 coats of Mod Podge, and then for the little square chocolates, I covered them in little red beads. So this project was an intensive project. I really should have just went out to the store and bought brown clay, but being me, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make it. And they came out beautiful. I loved them so much, but it was probably like 3 or 4 days of work molding chocolate. And the sad thing is, I couldn't stop at chocolate. I made chocolate-dipped strawberries, which were even harder because I had to paint them in the strawberry mold. But the tricky thing is when you dip the strawberries in Mod Podge, you have to dip them in Mod Podge paint to look like the chocolate. So when I did that, I dropped a few in, which was really frustrating. These took me probably 3 hours. My mom helped me, so I was very grateful for that. They took such a long time, but I'm going to have them forever as long as I take care of them. So that's why I put in so much work to all of my projects, because I know if I take care of them, then they'll last me a very long time. These are all of the pieces that you will need. I wanted mine to color coordinate. These are actually foam hearts from Michael's. Usually they're like $5. Regular price, but if you catch them on sale, you could probably get them for like $1.50. That's when we bought ours at the end of the season. So these two are the smaller versions of the hearts. I chose to use the fuzzy ones for the bottom and the bottom of the top. Then I have these 2 scalloped pieces, which I'm going to use. And then one of the larger hearts that are usually glittery. I chose to do the tops of mine all sparkly, but if you don't want to use sparkly, you can just use a regular one. I forgot to mention, you should be using the medium heart for the top. I had a large one out previously. So the top for this box is pretty straightforward. You're going to need the scalloped piece, medium glitter heart or decorative heart of your choice, and then a medium felt heart. So the first step is to peel off the backing on your front heart. I'm choosing to use glitter, but if you'd like to use something else, you can. This is totally up to you. Customize it however you would like. Then, see this little outline on this? I'm just going to like line them up, and then that will give us the top, which I think looks really adorable. Then there's another outline on the back, which is why we're going to take this heart, peel off the back. This is the little felt one, and peel it off. This one's very sticky, oh my gosh. And then we're going to stick it on the back. And then that will give us a little lip for our box to rest inside of the paper on. Then cut a strip of paper to your desired height and hot glue it around this heart. And now you have a box. Hot glue the base and then glue it on to this box, which is then going to give you the bottom of your chocolate box. Let's do a test fit. Perfect, it fits great. Now this is finished. I did on the inside go in with some tissue paper. I just fitted it to the top of a pencil eraser and glued in each individual piece using tacky glue. I'm just going to do that off camera because you guys don't want to see like a 6-minute time lapse of gluing on paper because it took me hours to do that. Like cutting each little square piece of tissue paper took forever. And there you have it, a perfect Barbie-sized chocolate box filled with delicious chocolates. I'm going to put my lid on and seal it. I recommend storing them with the chocolates inside so you don't have to like fan out all the tissue paper because I made the mistake of taking them out to display them somewhere else in a jar and my tissue paper got ruined. So I recommend storing them with the chocolates inside or maybe just like a filler. I had to resort to using another table to display all of the food. I have the cookies there, the donuts, and then I switched the pizza to the lid of a red heart box, so now we can put our pizza down. Here's everything displayed all together. I really love how it looks. I like how all the colors are similar but different, and I think that the dress that Barbie's in totally matches like her entire pink kitchen, which is kind of why I was excited to make this video because very rarely does like the pink kitchen match with what she's cooking and like the entire video. So I think that this entire thing looks really adorable. I'm still so happy with how this 3D printed pan came out, and with the brownies it looks even better. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. These crafts were so much fun to do. I'm so excited to use them in other videos. And if you guys liked any of these projects, leave a comment down below. Like I said earlier, I'm very excited to start working with some Barbie cake stuff. After getting a 3D printer, I think making doll rooms is going to be like to the next level. So I'm very excited to start doing that. If you haven't put a vote in the poll for the 900 subscriber special, make sure you go do that. All you have to do is go to the community tab and click on your favorite choice. Picking the winning topic probably in another week, so make sure you check back to see which topic won. And I hope all of you guys have a great Valentine's Day. If you like this type of content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you can get notified when we post new videos, and I will catch all of you in the next video. Bye!